Welcome back. This is day 2 of making a custom 1847 in the QFA, and I've just tuned the whole thing to 441 compromise last day, and I'm gonna begin working on the reeds. So I'm taking the whole thing apart again. The first thing I will do is I'll swap the comb, because Leonid has asked me for comb replacement. Now this will have an ebony comb made from black wood, custom built, and it's really hard wood, so it looks like stone when polished. That's our new comb. So, the tools I will need is probably not yet my glass ball for simple embossing. Now I started off by embossing it just a little bit. Start real light because of the sharp edges that the edges of the slot on stock harmonicas are very sharp, so if I emboss it too much it will get stuck. And I'll go over all 10 blow reeds. No, just a little bit to have some sort of start and to continue to work then when something is embossed already. Now this is only the beginning. I'm not doing anything yet. I don't know if it's the best method to emboss a reed, because what it does is it narrows the slot, but it also pushes the metal down. So from that sort of slot, it creates something like the slot, then goes that sort of slope, and then the reed plate. So it allows me to set the reed with a smaller gap, at the same time closing the slot, which is what I believe a good combination. But I don't know, I may be wrong, someone may correct me, but this functions quite well. In fact, you will feel when you begin embossing that the beginning of the stroke is as if you're stroking something really sharp, and then metal gets smoother as you emboss it. So I'm going all over 75% of the slot, of each single reed. All blows, all draws. Now this one is stuck somewhere here. I've just centered the reed. I just use my fingers to center them like this, or put 2 fingernails around the reed and center it like this. You don't need to move it too much. You can also use a filling gouge to center reeds like this. I've got 55 views of the first video, by the way, which leaves me sort of, puzzled if all of those 55 persons have watched the whole hour up to the end. I even thought that no one really needs those videos because there were no comments. So, have those people watched or not? I don't know. I know it's boring geek stuff, but I believe that after those series of videos, you will not need anything at all. So, what else should you need if you see the whole process from beginning to the end, and you have the ability to watch as the stock harmonica gets customized? You can reproduce it after that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna warm up the reed plate, because they play a bit differently when warm up, and I will start fixing the bends first. Oh my god, that comb looks good. That's a real good looking comb. This isn't as responsive as I want it to be, so I will go through the draw side. I don't know how much embossing is enough. I just do it until I'm satisfied. Now, one particular thing about this basic embossing with a round object is at first you get the idea that something is improved, but in fact you have to go beyond that, because as I said, the slot is narrowed and pushed down. Now the bend has improved, but I think I should go over the blow side. I like glass because it doesn't leave any scratches on the reed surface, meaning the pitch of the reed will not change. This is from a liquor bottle, from vodka in particular. They used to have those in bottlenecks. I think with customizing, it's more important to know what you should get than how you get it. Because if you can tell the difference between a harmonica that plays well and the one that's not, is, in my opinion, as important as being able to customize it. Because you can learn that, in a matter of hours. But for example, to be able to overbend quite well is a matter of weeks or months of practice. So you have to have an idea how the instrument should sound and how it should respond. With steel, I tend to over emboss it a little bit and then plink the reed into sounding. As a very hard material, steel with plink with force will make its way through German silver. So have just the right tolerance for the reed to sound. On the blow side, Now this is like meditation. Customizing helps to achieve the level of feeling what the instrument should give you. You know, you eye to eye with an instrument for quite time, and you learn. I have learned to overbend by simply setting them up on the instrument. No, I don't like it yet. The trick is, as I want real fast response, but at the same time, on my own instruments, I like the middle bands being, you know, tangible. And by saying that, I mean that they are a bit different in response, so that I will feel where the perfect band is. I'm talking about half-step bands first, surely. Because in the tuning I play, there are only half-step bands. I don't like the blow side. You know, one of the reasons why I want you guys to be on forum is because, you know, it's a real forum, a grown-up forum with, you know, topics supported and threads, and it consolidates knowledge. So if you see something in the chat room, it will go, but on the forum we can keep the most important info. And I think that's important. So you can come in as a newcomer and then search for information and find it in threads and topics, or vice versa. You can delete or move to archives of topics, and, you know, topics that are not much of an interest. And I've just made a live chat for the forum, so you don't have to enter username, so register again. It's available on the forum. In the top left hand corner there's a big yellow button. Click here for chat, and it takes you into instant chat. Still don't like it. Now the reason why I'm starting with the hole number 2, not the 1, because I will need to set up an overband on hole 1, and I'm planning to do that a bit later. Oh, I don't like the draw side. The blow suits me perfectly. But the draw side can be improved. You know what? Just because I'm right-handed, I thought I might reposition the camera to the left side, and I think I'm gonna do this as I finish this second hole, because that way you'll see what's going on the part that's covered by my right hand. I think that's more suitable to film from the left. Now you might want to check a bit more often than I do. I just have a feel like, you know, I'm embossing it and I feel that, oh no, it's still not enough, or I have to be careful, or I have to check. No, I feel it because I have done it so many times, and you may not want to lose the point where it gets over embossed. So I advise to check more often than I do. Yeah, and checking the slots against the source of light, and I see that the bottom has been embossed quite well, but the top is not embossed at all. So I'm going through the top of the slot, and maybe I will even do some advanced embossing near the rib. It's not really necessary, but it will improve the blow, and I think I will go for it. Now this thing takes time. You can't do it too fast, because too fast usually is coupled with too much, and too much is coupled with too much time trying to de-emboss it. And after you de-emboss it, it's not exactly the same as making it right from the start, because when you fix your mistakes, you create, uneven surfaces, and that's not too good. Now this thing has an overblow right now, just because I've embossed it up to a certain level where overbend is possible. But I don't like how it responds to a regular blow note, so I'm gonna emboss it near the rib, because I have no choice. Now I think I'll swap the camera to the left. Now that looks much better. If you want to do this, do that at your own risk, because you can easily slip and hit the reed, and I will not be responsible if you do it on an expensive instrument. So try this on Chinese made harmonicas first. I'm making the groove deeper so that I will have some edge to press against, and not to slip and not to hit the reed. and always check how much how further you can emboss it, because this is a very vulnerable part of the harmonica near the river head. It would be very hard to get rid of excessive metal that you may leave there. And since I don't want any overblows on hole 2, I will not do it fanatically. So I will just do it enough to improve regular bends. And I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna go for something more sophisticated now. Well, in fact, I've made the I've made that groove too close to the edge, so that's why I'm using this method. I'm not pushing it that way anymore because I'm afraid that it's too close, too easy to slip. Takes much more time, but at the same time it's more safe. It's safer, more reliable, I want to say. Now I apologize in advance if I start shouting bad words when something goes wrong. I'll try to do that in Russian, so not all of you will understand. Sometimes you get unexpected problems, like you're setting up overblows and you've set all of them except for one, and at the same point you find out that the reed is faulty, that the reed profile is incorrect, so those reeds usually go into torsional vibrations real easy, and there is no way to fix it. Now overbend begins to bend up. Now I will gap it and probably this will be enough for now. I don't know how it behaves when I assemble the whole thing. I'm almost sure that I will not like it, and I will have to fix something in the end. Now it's pretty responsive. I would say as responsive as brass reeds. No, for real, it's real responsive. You know, I even thought that maybe I should do the same to the draw reed plate, just because I'm curious how responsive it gets after that. Now this thing requires both force and precision, force and finesse. There's this technique when you apply beeswax or nail polish to the rivet that's doing almost the same sort of job, but I believe that if someone pays good money for a custom harmonica, you should provide something more advanced and sophisticated than nail polish. That's my personal opinion. I mean, it smells, and besides it's something alien applied to the instrument. It plays quite well. have to stress the point that what I'm doing right now is not really necessary for an average player. I mean, it plays, and it plays well already, but I want it to sound perfect. I want this fucking thing to blow your brains out when you play it. Yeah, I like it. Now, hole number 3 is particularly bad. And real hard to bend. Funny, but it took me almost the whole hour to make 1.5 holes. Change the gapping. It's too low on the draw side. I don't like it yet. You have to emboss both the blow and the draw reed blade, because they play simultaneously during those draw half step, whole step, and 1/2 step bends. I'm gonna do this until I feel that it's enough, that I like it, that it plays like it should, like I think it should. Now same for the 3 blow. The trick is you should find a very comfortable tool to do this. Of the right shape and of the right size, of the right length. Have you noticed how the 3 1.5 step bend has improved? It really pops up, you know, stands apart. So the rest of the bends require, the reason is when you do 3 full step through full 1.5 step bend, so it's only the blow rate plate that mostly plays. The rest of the bends require the draw notes to sound as well, so they're not that well sounding, and that's why I'm embossing near the rivet, the draw side as well. Now, again, I stress this, don't try this exactly this way on brass harmonicas. If you want to do this on brass harmonica, watch Advanced Embossing Part 2 on my Vimeo channel.